one of my biggest problems is that I'm so used to the battlefield. I'm not comfortable with being too comfortable. I took a decision in my early 20s to better be comfortable with discomfort because that's what it takes to fix issues. I get irritated when I see people like Rob Herkov, Helen Zille, Steve Hoffmeyer, and all their like-minded people getting a platform and getting all the attention, and they pose as if they want to fix problems in the country. But then if you track their actions very, very, very closely, you will see that no, this is just a decoy, just a distraction. And then it irritates me because there's no strong alternative view. The people who claim to be representing the masses or the people or the interest of the people, they are busy stealing or lying or just doing something does not help anyone but themselves. So it does irritate me, which leads me to the point that whoever controls the narrative has the ultimate power. Whoever is in charge of the narrative will run things. Do you agree with that sentiment?
I agree, bro. Because if you can look at these guys that are being given a platform, look at this channel. I don't know whether is it from Cape Town or do you know
Yeah,
Biz
that white
News?
boy there.
Yeah, that
Oh, the
Herkov.
biz news. Oh, yeah, yeah, I see, I see.
Yeah, so if you can look at that Biz News, it's my view now. I'm gonna be provocative. I think it's anti-black and anti-ANC because if you can look at the perceptive and the narrative they're driving there, it's that a black man is synonymous to corruption, to laziness. So it takes you back way before by the words that was said by the Pope in 1453 that go and conquer where there's none Europeans. You see. So at the back of their minds, a black man is ontologically and epistemologically inferior. Yabo. So they push that inferiority, that the blackness it's inferiority, and you're a person who can have thoughts, can lead. You just another secondary citizen that needs to be supervised by whiteness all the time. On your own,
Hmm.
you can't because of
Look,
there's this inferiority complex about you, and which is not
and
true. I
yeah,
refuse
like
that.
look,
That thing. I refuse.
you see how good these people are, man. They created an entire culture out of that mindset. The entire generation of Europeans who are here in South Africa, they were groomed and bred in that mindset because it's been like the agenda that we are living under now was devised in the 1200s, in the 1300s, in the BC, in the AD 500 AD, 311 AD, since the times of the Council of Nicaea. So today we are living under that hegemony, which was decided 800 years ago, 1,000 years ago. You see, and now because they can see it's obviously tumbling down, people are waking up. They are busy trying to bring a new agenda to the table. They will call it New World Order, or they'll call it United Nations Resolution. They call it different names, but really it's all about control. Because even this one that we are talking about, it was a machine that was used to control, and is still being used to control, but it's tumbling down because you can only control people for so long. I was reading just now, this Afrikaner male rewriting history as they always do. He was talking about the history of when they arrived. The Xhosa people were still migrating. I'm like, why are they so obsessed, man, with everyone else except their own history? They want to rewrite everyone else's history, but they don't want to write their own history because they know it's a history of bloodshed and lying. So they're so obsessed with everyone else. But When you look at that obsession, it's an obsession with driving the narrative. They understand that if you drive the narrative, whether it's a narrative that says blacks are inferior or a narrative that says whites are superior, one way or another, they're the ones who will drive that narrative. Even the narrative of unity. You see, when you talk about unity, these guys are driving that narrative. You see, when you go to platforms like this news, they will tell you, no, let's unite, we're one human race. But then when you see what they really do, they only exposing a certain type of corruption and being blind to everything else that's happening by a particular group. Like right now, I think 3 days ago or so, there's an Italian woman, original Italian woman, who was arrested with in connection with corruption that was happening at ESCOM in the millions of rands.
Oh,
And
I
you don't
saw
see
on the
that on
news.
News 24. But you don't see that on like News 24, EWN, or on
I saw
radio
it
stations.
online. I think I saw it online.
Exactly.
And it's
And
not
that
being
brings you to
pushed.
the question, who drives the narrative? And why is this person or this group that drives the narrative selecting to tell certain stories and not tell other stories? What, how does that benefit them telling certain stories? You see, look, there's a Jewish billionaire, they call him Nathan Kirsch. He runs the Kirsch Consortium. The Kirsch Consortium are known
Oh
to
yeah,
be
I
deeply
see
involved
nature.
with Israel. Yes, at some point they ran their security systems, and they donate a lot of money to Israel, right? And these guys, man, they've been rumored to be donors in the EFF as well. Do you know that that guy, that Cash Consortium, also owns Prime Media?
Ah,
And Prime Media is the guy, like, they're the guys who own a lot of radio station and newspapers in the country. So a billionaire like that, who supports a regime like Israel, has such command of media in South Africa. We can also talk about NASPAs and the guys behind NASPAs and the command they have when it comes to media in South Africa. Do you see? So it's an elite agenda to
your
drive the
course
narrative.
beggar.
Oh yeah, your co-speaker, and it's an elite agenda to drive the narrative. And elites don't give a damn about your average black person because they think you're a monkey. They think you are you are dumb and incapable of thinking. But for me, like specifically with regards to corruption, they really, 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 really have a selective eye because there's so much corruption happening in the country. There's so many pyramid schemes that are being run by these drug kingpins who are actually Europeans, but you don't hear anyone talking about that. Why is that?
There's a lot of, even in the private sector, on these corporations, there's a lot, and there they cover it smartly, because they cover it smartly in a sense that you find one person who has a monopoly over different departments. Let's say it's a company, and then he is a manager on maybe four different departments, even security, and then he's in charge of bringing people, the suppliers, and all this. That's where these things happen now, because of they can either inflate the prices, they can either have a relationship with those suppliers to say that no, let's I'm gonna give you this contract and then you're gonna give me this much. And
Yeah,
with my own eyes, that thing. Because when you start to actually wanna apply for those jobs, you see that I can do the job, but you're being profiled, they'll be like, you can't do it because of it's a monopoly. They're only letting in their own puppets, which they're gonna control, which they're not gonna have any say. Once they see that this guy is doing all the right things, they won't let you in. They'll be like,
yeah,
we don't want you. We want our own people who we gonna control. I think that's how this country is being designed. It's like they have their own puppets within this system, so that they impose this thing. They tell them they don't have any power to gazette. I even listened to this guy called the so-called Minister of Electricity, Ramukupa. That interview with Sakina Kamwendo, that guy is still a minister. He's still going to ask from other ministers. That's a waste of money. That guy, what is his job actually?
Man, I don't know what's happening in the government,
Speaking about gadgets, you're asking him what's the solution? What is the core solution about this
dude.
thing?
The problem with these ministers, yeah,
The energy availability factor, where are we standing? What's happening? They've been same stories about Andre Derrida. He's been saying the same thing. They say this, the units say this, everything, corruption, same thing, but no changes.
complete
You
garbage.
start rem-
And man, like I for me, it's hard to even listen to these people, man. I don't even listen to them anymore. Like
yeah,
it's very difficult to listen to them with respect. I can't
I
listen to
can't.
them. So it's like you can see there are little cartoons, man. With someone controlling the whole thing behind the scenes. They can't even articulate the process of electricity production. You put them there, like
No.
in front of the camera, and like explain how is electricity produced. They wouldn't be able to articulate it. They're a
Never.
joke.
And we have people like Abu Tsepo Khadima. That guy's dope. It's good, especially with electricity. Those such people, they won't be given any chance. If that guy is being hired to ESCOM, they're gonna be no that guy. They won't support him first of all, not because of he's gonna be doing the right thing. So
Yeah.
the main agenda it is to break this system for the people to revolt and
Yes.
be like, ESCOM, we don't want anything to do with ESCOM. And there's a hand now which controls everything.
The hidden
So
hand.
yeah, that hidden hand be like, no, we don't want anything to do with rather go private. Then when you go private,
Yeah.
now these IPPs they're gonna benefit. The same people who are destroying are gonna be benefiting with these IPPs, and it's gonna be expensive. For me, my cry is the masses, the people who are living in poverty. It's worse
True.
again, but it's gonna be worse again because of if you can't pay, they'll cut off your electricity. They'll be like, no, you, you can't make profits. Cut. They won't be
Yeah,
able to
that's
give.
true, man.
Yeah, we don't own our
Bro, like
resources. Our
it's a
resources
mess, man.
are depleting. Sad, man. Our
It's a
resources
mess.
are
And
depleting.
yeah, you see in the public sector and in the private sector, there's so much corruption, man. There's
You
so much corruption.
it's
It's all about.
systematic. It's no longer endemic. It's no longer endemic. It's
Mm,
systematic. The system is. That's
mm,
why the other day I think we were speaking about politicians. I was like, whatever. Me and my concern is this system.
yeah,
Dismantle these systems, and for this country to get back its own sovereignty, the resources, and that sense of pride. I think there's no other option but to for a revolution to and there's gonna be a war when I look at things now because of
hey man, yeah.
it's bad.
And 90% of people are not prepared.
Hyderabad.
90% of people are not even prepared, man, for the destruction that's coming. There's a desolation that's coming. There's destruction that's coming. There's bloodshed that's coming, man. And people are not prepared. People are they don't care. You know, once they hear you talk like this, hey, yeah, you are too serious, man. Hey, get a life. You'll be depressed. You know, you're still young. Don't talk about these things. Come, let's have fun. Let's drink. Dance to my piano. And you see, yeah,
Because this thing it's a ticking time bomb. The first bomb, if you can go back to history, remember the incident Americano where people were killed
yeah,
there. Who was behind that? The Lonmin, Pusire,
don't mean,
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
when you go back again now on this July unrest, people killed each other. They looted, they killed each other. And if you can look now, the ticking time bomb that's gonna come. What's worse that's gonna come if you can look at this from Marikana to the July unrest. Now
it's definitely gonna be worse. Definitely gonna be worse, man.
it's getting worse and worse because of those guys. They detest to the reality. They're sitting in the burbs, in the suburbs. They are not low shared. They're using the private institution, private hospitals, private healthcare. Us, we suffer in the masses here. And you ask yourself, they say these people are your leaders. They stand there, they can't feel what you're feeling. So I was like,
Imagine.
the EFF had that Sankara oath where they, 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 they say the members of the party they must use public infrastructure. They took it away, that thing. It was taken away. That thing must be put in the public domain, in the government, so that
Yeah.
people they can fix these hospitals, these roads, this post old because of we'll be sharing those healthcare with them.
Man,
People can
as I was traveling this morning, I'm looking at the landscape here, and you know, there's so much opportunity to develop, man. This country is beautiful, man. There's no reason why we should not be developing this country. Absolutely no reason. Like I'm seeing two, three, four high-rise buildings, and that's an opportunity. Given the housing crisis in South Africa, especially here in Cape Town, you could be building more high-rise buildings, beautiful high-rise buildings, which will add into improving the image of the country, creating employment. Those are the conversations that we should be having, but they are not happening because no one has real vested interest in actually solving something in this country. That whole concept of rising from the ashes, that's what they're trying to do. These elites are willing to break a few eggs to create an omelette. And if it means destroying an entire country and its people, they are willing to do that. They are very much willing to do that. We've seen it happen time and again. We saw it with 9/11 in the USA. You see, we saw it last year with, okay, the past few years with that whole thing called pandemic. You see, then they don't mind. They don't mind destroying everything just so that they could rebuild again and have things go their way. And if citizens do not have an agenda, a citizen's agenda for self help, a program for self help, stand up, deconstruct, stand up, disintegrate this system, including the politicians. Those are the gatekeepers. You start with the politicians. You start with Cyril Ramaphosa, Julius Malema, Helen Zille, John Steenhuisen, Groenewald, Mulder, Olomisa, Nkata Freedom Party president, that man. All of them, man. There's nothing they're doing for the people. Take them out of the picture so that you can handle Johann Rupert properly. So that you can handle the Rothschilds. So that you can handle the Oppenheimers, the Dinells or the De Beers, all these different dynasties that are running the country. You can't face those people unless you remove the politicians from the picture. Remove the politicians from the picture. If you follow politicians, they will always appease their masters. They will always appease their masters. It's how the system is designed. Politicians serve the elites. That's why they're there. They don't serve the people. The people are just pawns. They're just pieces in a game, in a big game where they do not feature. They're just background characters. You see, this is someone's game, and people are just playing along with it. And when we try to warn people, then we are called conspiracy theorists. And all those conspiracies are always becoming a reality sooner or later.
That's what was said by Professor Lumumba, PLO. He said after colonization, the same colonizers created the Commonwealth, and at the head of the Commonwealth was this British monarch. So when you look at that, it's a person who was oppressing you, now is creating another institution so that you can be also oppressed. You see, my brother. So we're doomed. It's true. We must dismantle this this politics, party politics, because it's not serving us anything. And actually, they're in bed with this hegemony, this imperialist, so that they can continue taking out the resources, and they actually these resources will end up being depleted. So yeah, are you back?
I'm back, man.
Are you back?
Connectivity issues. Connectivity issues. I'm back now. Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you?
I can't hear you.
Hello?
Can you hear me? Oh, yeah. I was speaking about this thing, a Commonwealth, also the British
Yeah.
hegemony being on top of this Commonwealth, and still we're
Hey,
still continuing this neo-colonialism. Same people who
can you hear me
colonize
speak
you,
though?
they creating this Commonwealth, what, and then it's still continuing to this day.
Bruh.
I remember I was reading a book, Season Pofu Welsh. You know the guy,
Yeah, I
the
know
son
him.
of Dalimbo.
Kalimbofu's son.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the guy has a book called, I think it's his second book called The New Apartheid. So
I know the book, yeah.
there's there's a there's a there's a there's a guy who's quoting Verwoerd on that book. He said that the colonialism and apartheid, it was a system which was designed to suppress the people, these native people of South Africa, so that no future government will able to undo the damage that's been done. The damage, the psychological damage,
That
the
means then the
self-hatred,
government is not
the
the solution. It's exactly what we were saying. The government is not the solution, man. We're the ones who now as assassins, you see, as mercenaries, as not just political mercenaries, psychological mercenaries, political mercenaries, economic mercenaries. Get up and cut their heads off, starting with the politicians because they're the gatekeepers, coming with it, following on with their masters. That's the approach you need now. That's the approach you need, man. Be a mercenary. Come, cut off the head. Because the way it was designed, it's not supposed to work, and it's not working because it was designed that way.
yeah. I think let's shut it down. We'll continue tomorrow, my brother. What do you think?
Peace, man. Yeah, yeah,
Peace, peace,
that's cool.
peace.